Hey, welcome to the Yucatan Peninsula. Right here, right behind me, this is a black spiny-tailed iguana. This iguana is super common. You'll see it all over the place out here, but we are going to go and look for some specialties here. This coastal area is going to be great for Cozumel spiny lizard, along with some snakes and some other things. We'll probably explore a cave or two, so just stay tuned. I think we've got a good video in store for you. Welcome to the coast. This is a really beautiful area with a ton of sand dunes, and we found one of the local specialties. Right there is a Cozumel spiny lizard. It is one of the smallest spiny lizards, and it is specialized just to these coastal dunes. Now, we are not on Cozumel. We are still in the Yucatan Peninsula, and so you can find these on the mainland as well as a few islands. And so there we go, that little, that little specialty there. It's in the...
Yeah, I got it.
Whoa. Nice.
You film that?
Yeah? I mean, I think I got part of it.
Yeah, I got it.
Wow, look at this guy.
Like the belly.
Look at that. So this is very similar to that spiny lizard we saw the other day, but this one has a full collar that goes all the way around as opposed to the one that only had a little partial break. And it has a really nice orange face to it. So collared spiny lizard here. Awesome. And this is a male, right?
Yeah, this.
Yeah. Very cool.
Still having that.
Oh yeah. So the females and the juveniles have a really interesting pattern, and this one, even though it's adult male, still has a lot of that pattern on the head. Now this is all. Now the locals call this the collared spiny lizard. On iNaturalist or other sites, you may see this referred to as the blue spiny lizard or the Yucatan blue spiny lizard, and it definitely has a lot of blue coloration coming out in this area down here. And of course, even in the little tiny scales, I'm seeing a lot of blue. It's very cool. Oh, and he certainly does not like us holding him, but he's being very cooperative, and we'll let him go in just a sec. Structures like this can be a really good place to find stuff. So that spiny lizard was up here, but lurking above us is another lizard. This is the black spiny-tailed iguana, and then over in that area there's another Yucatan Silky Anole. So definitely come and look in places like this, all these shaded areas for the lizards to take shelter, but still get a lot of heat, especially from the tin that can be nice and toasty and warm. So cool to get all these lizards right here hanging out together. All right, this is kind of neat. We're going through these plants looking for salamanders, but we just found this little egg there, and then there's another one here. We're not sure if it's from this worm or something else, but that is definitely kind of cool. A nice tarantula popped up. This one isn't that big, but still cool to find it. All right, well, in amongst all of these plants, we're finding all sorts of spiders, and here's a wolf spider, and it looks like it may have caught another wolf spider, maybe one that we had also disturbed, and there are these weird daddy long legs things that are walking around there too. But yeah, it looks like that wolf spider hunted another one and is eating it. Oh, I got one. We just found that salamander we were looking for in all of these plants. This is the Yucatan Mushroomtongue Salamander, and it is a good size one too, with some lovely pattern to it. Some of its relatives are actually even more brightly colored. Now, these salamanders are lungless, so they just need high humidity, and they don't actually breathe air. And another cool thing about the mushroom-tongue salamanders is they get that name because their tongues have a very interesting shape, and that's actually, they use it as a projectile, like a spear, in order to hunt their prey. And so this is a nice chunky one. Now, in that position, I'm sure he's not hunting prey, just probably spending the day in the cool area here among the plants before it gets dark and he can sort of go on the hunt. So excellent to find this species, and hopefully we'll find even more to share with you. Time to explore another cave, but before we do, remember these caves are often doubled as cenotes, and so a lot of frogs will be in the area. And right in here we have one that we've seen already. Let's see if I can shine the light so you can see it. Right there, you can see all the way tucked in there, that little outline, that is the Casque-headed tree frog. That's its face right there looking at us, and it uses that face as like a shield to block up the hole so predators can't get inside and attack it. So pretty cool to see that. I'm glad we had one on the road because obviously this is a tough view, but there might be others in some of these other holes here. So we're gonna jump on into this cave / cenote and see if there's any snakes about. So even lizards will use this cave to keep cool. There is a rodriguezii Anole. There is another one, and there's a third right there. So we got a close look at these guys yesterday, so we're just going to keep exploring and see if anything new is going to show up in here.
Here in the hole.
Oh, nice. Look at that. We were just watching a golden big-eared fly around, and we found a snake. This is one of the snail suckers, right?
Terrestrial.
Terrestrial snail sucker, a brand new species for us. And what, I mean, you can barely see it, but that is some pretty coloration to it. These bright orange bands on a black background. I'm hoping we can get another one that's a little bit more visible, but this is pretty cool to see. Oh, right. Check out this snake. Look at that. This is that terrestrial snail sucker. We got it out of its little crevice. These are some of the most common snakes you find in caves, but you could also find these in the forest or crossing the road and things like that. But it is really just got a really pretty pattern to it with this very simple black and orange band. And it is very cooperative. It doesn't bite. So I am really excited to see this. And all this thing hunts is snails and slugs. And so we haven't seen any in the cave yet, but I'm sure they're around. What an excellent species to find. So this is a big-eared golden bat. It has a nice brownish gold color to it. We can see it more when it's flying, but these are insect eaters and actually quite a good sized bat as well. Now, a lot of these cave systems formed because the rock is so brittle because it's all made out of seashells and marine life. So you can really see it in some of these caves. It is just covered in little fossils of shells and other types of sea creatures. And there's a bunch of moths there. And this is actually right here is probably the shed of one of those terrestrial snail suckers. It looks like it's really compressed in that one section, but you can see the individual scales looking more like a traditional snake shed. So cool to find all these things. And actually, I think over here, we have more of the shed. And that looks a little more like what we normally see. Nice. Oh, look up there. There is something in the back. What are you? You are, I think this is a huge leopard frog. This is a Brown's leopard frog. That's the only type of leopard frog out there, but that is a really good sized one. Now, it is incredible to think, oh, there it jumped. How did it get up here? I mean, look at how high we are off the ground. This is just a big pile of guano that I'm squatting in, but I don't know how it got up there. There we go. We can see it jumping around. Now that looks like a leopard frog. I wonder if there's another passage or something up there, or if it really just jumped, or maybe the water level was higher at some point. But excellent to get that guy for the trip. And this is really just got a whole bunch of wildlife in this cave. It's pretty cool. All right, well, sometimes we get lucky and people tell us where the snakes are. This one was a rescue. This was actually in somebody's home. It is a Mexican parrot snake, and it is just gorgeous. Look at how bright green that head is. Now, The reason that I'm holding it but with this hook is because these guys are actually venomous. Now their venom isn't bad enough to kill humans, but sometimes people have bad reactions. You might receive some swelling, and so it's best to handle it in a safe way like this. So we have come to a natural area, and we are going to put this guy into the wild out here so that he can stay out of people's homes and have a much better life. All right, our biggest animal of the trip is right here behind me in the reeds there. This is the Morelet's crocodile. Now they are particular to enjoying just freshwater areas. If we were in saltwater, we'd probably start to see the American crocodile. So that's really cool to see a pretty big one here out in this sort of mangrove area. All right, well, we've shown you a lot of really cool natural areas. We are finally moving on to something a little less natural. And so, you know, abandoned buildings like this, trash piles you've seen, we can find some cool stuff. In fact, we caught this little skink right here. This is the Mayan skink, and let me tell you a little more about it. So this is not one of the endemic species. This is pretty widespread throughout Mexico, going all the way down to Honduras, I think, and it is pretty cool. Look at that nice lineated pattern on the side, that strong stripe, and it really does have some nice blue iridescence coming through. I think this one, you can see it's shedding its skin, and for whatever reason, where this shed is coming in, it has that sort of really neat bluish color to it. So nice to get this species for the trip. It may even be the last one we find. Okay, this is kind of cool. We've seen some tarantulas, but this one is just little itty bitty. You can see it's like an inch big. Of course, once we get to more urban areas, we can find some non-native species. There is a little Asian house gecko. In fact, I think there are a bunch of them. There goes another. There's another. There's one. They just seem to be pretty abundant here. But these are the geckos that we normally see on houses and things like that. Most of the native geckos are ground inhabiting, so you know, easy to see. Plus, they also really don't have much of a pattern on them at all.
Look.
Oh, that's awesome. That is so cool. This is the Central American boa. It is just moving its way through the jungle here. This is a big one too. It looks like it's about 4 feet long, so pretty cool.
Yes, that is. Look.
Oh.
What's that?
Oh no.
What's happening here with that?
Well, we found a snake in the side of this building. This is thank you, a Mexican parrot snake. Another one that we saw on a live one earlier. This one has a bit of a brown head versus the other one that had more green on it, but it looks like maybe it got stuck. Maybe something shifted when it was trying to come out of the building here, and this one is dead. So disappointing, pretty sad to see. Okay, well, these abandoned buildings can be kind of spooky, and they're even spookier when you come across a vampire bat. Check that out. This is the common vampire bat, and they have that name because they drink blood. So these bats will bite onto mammals and drink their blood. They have an anticoagulant so that you don't even feel it, and the blood keeps flowing. So really cool to see that. You can even see just barely its fangs, its little teeth there that it would use to get a drink. So very cool to see that, and definitely a spooky addition to this building here. Well, this is kind of cool. You know, you should always keep a look up in the air because we've got a bunch of bats up there. Now, I don't know what species it is, but they look like insect-eating bats, probably something new. And I can see they're producing a lot of guano below us as well. But I thought while I have these bats here with me, I thought it would be a nice sign-off. I'm Greg Schechter. This is Schechter Natural History, and I'll see you in the field.